Imagine being in the dark, locked up, terrified of dying, and suddenly, a voice you've never heard before, and that wasn't from this world, whispers in your ear, "Trust us." But what happened next changed my life forever.
Namaste. My name is Corinne Tamayo Coffin. I live here in Brazil. I came into oneness in the year 2007. I'm a member of the 81,000 Dikshayagna group. I'm here to tell my story of how our beloved Sri Amma Bhagavan, the Great Compassionate Light, saved me. The year is 1991. It was May 28th, and I was kidnapped here in Brazil for ransom. Needless to say, it was a terrifying experience. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep in captivity. I thought I was going to die. So finally, on my 8th night in captivity, I was wide awake, unable to sleep, overwhelmed by fear. I began to pray, not just pray, but beg God to save me. Even though I had no real connection with him, I was raised a Christian, but we rarely went to church. And then something happened. This is in the middle of the night in a pitch black room. I heard a voice. Now this voice was here, about this far away from my left ear. It was a very clear voice. And the voice said, "Trust us." I literally jumped, I was in a pitch black room. I thought someone was there, but there wasn't anyone there. The voice continued, "We're going to send you an illness." I didn't trust this voice, and I must admit I answered sarcastically, "Oh, sure, you're going to send me a cold, and my kidnappers are going to let me go." The voice said, "Trust us." And a few seconds went by, and then I thought very quickly. I said, "No, well, wait a minute. I don't want to have any, lasting side effects. I don't want to be paralyzed or end up in a wheelchair." And the voice once again repeated, "Trust us." And then it began. The first of many ischemic strokes. My body began to feel strange. My tongue felt swelled in my mouth. My head buzzed. I was thrilled, actually, because I knew that this was a miracle happening. This was the way out. But I must admit once again that the kidnappers did not free me right away. They held me for another 5 days, eternal days. Each day, more strokes. My right arm hung lifeless beside me. My right side of my face was drooping. My voice was slurred. I was dragging my leg. And so then I must admit that over the next 5 days, my faith started to fade. I thought maybe I won't survive this. But then finally, after 5 days, they did release me. Not because they cared, but because, dead merchandise isn't worth anything. So within hours, I was at the hospital going through a CAT scan. And when I came out, my family doctor was there. And he looked at me and he said, "You're lucky." But then he explained. He said, "Well, there are many kinds of strokes. And the one that I had was a rare kind, where because of perhaps extreme stress and caused a temporary blockage of the blood flow. So it was a stress response, and I had no permanent damage." So within less than 3 weeks of physical therapy, I was back to normal and fully recovered. So I got exactly what the voice had promised me. I was released from the kidnapping. I was healed. I had no permanent damage. In that dark room that I was in, I had no faith. I didn't know God, and yet grace found me. That voice in my darkest hour fulfilled everything it promised And that moment was the beginning of a journey that has lasted me over 30 years. A journey of connection, of inner transformation, and surrender to the divine. For years, I didn't understand why the voice had said us in plural. Who was us? When Sri Bhagavan finally brought in the revelation of the great compassionate light, I finally understood. That voice was the great compassionate light, Amma Bhagavan. And us means Sri Amma and Sri Bhagavan. It was them. It was Amma Bhagavan. What I have come to realize is that our beloved Sri Amma Bhagavan, the great compassionate light, has been with me ever since I was born, protecting me, helping me through all my difficult times. I am eternally grateful. I love you so much, so much. Thank you.